seated in a comfortable position, sitting up on a blanket or rolled up, anything that can kind of raise your hips. Feel free to lean against the wall if that's better. And may I even suggest laying on your back if that is more comfortable. No problem. I want you all to be able to relax in this next couple moments so that we can tap into our breathing. So whatever you need to do to get comfortable with a straight spine. And then just close your eyes and take a moment to tap into your body. Check in with yourself. How are you today? Taking a moment to scan through, noticing any areas that might need special attention, sending your breath there. Think about releasing tension on your exhale. We're going to do our 4-count breathing, and I'm also going to say that if 4 counts is not enough, or maybe it's too much, you can feel free to adapt that to a 3-count breath, a 6-count breath, however you need to adjust so that you can lengthen and hold for 1 count and then exhale. We're going to begin by exhaling out our mouth and then inhale through your nose for 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause for 1 and exhale through your nose for 2, 3, 4. Pause at the bottom and repeat. Inhale through your nose, lengthening as you inhale. Pause at the top and equal count exhale through your nose, all the way emptying your breath to the bottom. Hold. Continue going at your own rhythm, focusing on your breathing here. A few more moments of equal counts. Inhale, exhale. Feeling your spine grow long on each inhale and grounding down into your mat on each exhale. Slowing down your nervous system, moving into this more relaxed state. And wherever you are, we'll do one more round. Inhale and exhale. And at the bottom of your next exhale, go ahead and open your eyes. And if you aren't seated, come back to seated. And bring your soles of your feet together, creating a diamond shape with your legs. Knees are bent and relaxed out to the side. Butterfly legs. And then clasp your hands onto your ankles. And then use your elbows to press your inner thighs down as you lean forward. Press your inner thighs towards the ground, stretching out your hips and your inner thighs. Breathe here for a few breaths. And then keep your legs the way they are, but this time release your hands and allow them to crawl forward into a forward fold. Continue to lean over your feet. If anyone can kiss their feet, that would be amazing, but I don't think we're there. I definitely am not. And I don't even know if I want to kiss my feet. Continue to breathe into your forward fold over your butterfly legs. Did you all realize you signed up for Brianna's Stream of Consciousness when you signed up for this class? No, you did not. Inhale, press yourself up and extend your right leg long. Left knee will stay bent. We'll do our classic fold over our right leg. So right leg is extended straight. You can keep a bend in the knee if you need to, and then fold over your leg, crawl your hands towards your shin or ankle. The left knee is resting down on the ground. The left foot is touching the inner thigh of the right leg, and the knee is bent, resting down. And if you need to prop something under that knee, you can always do that. Continue to breathe here. If you want to turn this into a little more of a twist, think about taking the left hand to the outside of the right ankle, creating a little more of a twist. Breathe into your right hamstring, a few more breaths. Inhale, press yourself up and trade out your legs. So now the right knee is bent, resting down, left leg extends long. Walk your fingertips towards the left ankle or shin. Bow your forehead towards your knee. I want to take this into a twist. Just take your right hand towards the outside of the left ankle or shin. And then inhale, press yourself up and bring both of your feet extend in front of you. We'll start with staff pose. So if you are seated on a blanket or pillow, go ahead and take that out from underneath. For staff pose, your legs are straight out in front of you, feet are flexed, meaning your toes point or toes curl towards your face. Press through your heels. Your hands are placed just outside your hips on the ground, slightly behind you, propped up on your fingertips. Squeeze your elbows back so that you can lift through your chest. Your body is making a 90-degree angle here with your legs and your torso. We're just seated here in a nice tall pose with your shoulders down away from your ears. And then begin to walk your fingertips forward into a forward fold. Clasp your hands around your ankles or your shins. Feet are together and flexed. Bow your forehead down. Breathe into both hamstrings. Inhale, sit up and bend your knees. Place your feet flat on the ground. Your hands can come resting back on the ground, kind of just like you're chilling on the beach. Your hands flat on the ground, just kind of beside or behind your hips. And then we're going to come into a figure four position only. We sometimes do this laying down, but we're going to do this seated. We'll take the right ankle and place it on top of the left thigh. The right knee is bent, and it's more of the outside of my right ankle that's resting on my left thigh. If you need to extend the bottom left leg slightly to access that. It might be hard to lift your foot on top of your leg. So lowering the bottom leg slightly can help you do that. And then once you've got it, you can start to bend that bottom knee a little deeper to access that stretch a little more in the outer right hip. So it's just the right outside of the right ankle that's resting on the top of the left thigh. And again, if you can't do that, just extend the bottom leg more and breathe into your right hip flexor. If you bend the bottom knee deeper, you'll get a deeper stretch. Lift up through your chest as you do this. Think about squeezing your elbows and shoulders back. Get your forward stretch, and then go ahead and release that top leg down. We'll switch sides. Same thing with the left leg. You'll rest the outside of the left ankle on top of the right thigh, just below the knee. The left knee is bent. And once you've got that ankle on your thigh, you can maybe scoot your bottom forward to get a little deeper stretch in the outer left glute. Again, lift through your chest, squeeze your elbows back. A few more breaths. And then slowly release that top leg down and find a comfortable seat. We're just going to shake out our wrists. Go ahead and shake them out. And then stretch out the front and back of your wrist by taking one palm to bend the fingers back of the other hand. And then do that on both sides. And then flip the palm the opposite direction. Stretch the other side of the palm, other side of the wrist. Get your fingers stretched out too. Maybe stretch back the thumb slightly. Do your flamenco fingers. Maybe create some circles with your wrists. Opposite, both directions, clockwise, counterclockwise. That even applies, really, is a clockwise motion here, but you know what I mean. And then come to hands and knees, tabletop position. As usual, we'll just take the moment to loosen up our hips by wagging our imaginary tails from left to right. Like that bumper sticker, wag more, bark less, something like that. Wag your tails, and then create some circles with your hips, clockwise, nice big circles. Shifting your weight forward, side, back, side, both directions. And then come back to tabletop and allow your neck to roll from left to right. Feels good to just let your neck hang, moving it from left to right. And then come back to a neutral position. Gaze down, neck is long. Extend your right leg behind you. Point through your toes. And we're going to do some leg lifts by lifting and lowering the right leg up and down. The leg stays straight, and you just tap the toes down to the ground and then lift it back up. We'll do 10 to 15 leg lifts with the right leg, balancing on your hands and your left knee. Explore what it feels like to have your toe tap further to the right, further to the left, activating different parts of that back left or back right glute. And then once you've done enough reps on the right, go ahead and switch out your legs. Same thing with the left leg. You'll extend your left leg straight behind you, and then lift and lower the left leg. 10 to 15, evening out both sides. You come up onto your fists. It begins to give you too much strain on your wrists. Breathing. And then once you've finished with that side, we're going to revisit the pose we've done in the past called thread the needle. This is going to stretch out our shoulders. So for thread the needle, you start out in hands and knees, tabletop. We're going to start with our right hand. We're going to weave the right hand under our left arm. You want to have your back of your hand on the ground as you slide it through and underneath the left arm. You're going to begin to lean forward and down so that the side of your right face and head and right shoulder is all resting down on the ground. And then you're going to take the left hand, which is probably bent in some strange way right now. Go ahead and start to walk the left hand forward, extending the left arm forward with the palm resting down on the ground. So now you're leaning your weight onto your right shoulder and the right side of your face and head, and left arm extends forward, press down to the left palm, and you can sink your hips back or forward, whatever feels good to access a deeper stretch in that shoulder. And I'm looking to see, oh my goodness, you're all doing it. That's awesome. Stay there for a few breaths. Thread the needle. Notice if you're clenching in your jaw anywhere. Release on the exhale. And then bend the left hand, press down and lift yourself back up to tabletop. And we'll do the other side. So we'll thread the left hand under the right arm, sliding the top of the hand through, keeping it on the ground as you thread that left hand under, palm faces up. You'll now rest your left side of your head and left shoulder on the mat. Reach your right arm forward, extending it straight with the palm resting flat down on the mat. Shoulder stretch. Sink your hips forward or back to access a deeper stretch in your left shoulder. Breathing here for a few breaths and thread the needle. Nice job. And then when you're ready, you'll bend the extended arm and press yourself back up to tabletop. And before we stand, we're going to do one last pose here. I like our little, I was going to take a poll, but then you all have to unmute. So never mind. We're going to just do what I say, which is we'll do the fire hydrant pose where you're basically just keeping the ankles together, bend the knees, and we'll start with the right leg. Bring the right knee out to the side and back down. You're just kind of hovering the entire right knee and shin as you swing it out to the side and down for maybe 10 to 15 on the right. Working the outer right glutes one more time. And once you're done with the right, switch to the left side. I think it's harder the slower you go. And once you're done with that, we are going to do something I forgot I had in mind today. It's called pigeon pose. Or no, this is lizard, sorry. Getting my animals confused. Lizard pose. So this is another deep hip opening stretch. For lizard's pose, we're going to start by stepping our right foot forward through our hands, coming into a lunge type position. You're going to stay on the back left knee, but extend the back leg so that it's a little straighter and curl the back toes under for more support. For now, my hands are just on the ground alongside my front foot, but eventually that's going to change. So you want to get that back leg a little straighter, and then begin to pivot the front foot out to the right so that it's wider, almost all the way to the outside of the mat. And depending on your body, you might feel better having that foot pointing out towards the right a little more. At least for me, that feels good. And then some of you probably want to stop right here, and that feels like plenty. You can bring your hands to both be resting down on the inside of the front foot. So now I have both hands down on the ground on the inside of my right foot. If you want to get deeper into this lizard pose, you can explore coming down onto your elbows, which will require you probably to rest a little bit more on the outer side of the front foot, almost like I'm lifting the foot slightly to rest on the outer edge of my right foot. Otherwise, I can't really get down on my elbows, or some people can, not me. And that's pretty much lizard's pose. You want to keep your gaze down to keep length in your neck. And now you're probably feeling pretty intense stretch here in your hips. So now we just breathe. Maybe stick your tongue out like a lizard. And then slowly come up and back into tabletop. Loosening your hips, just rock your hips one more time side to side. And we'll do the left side now. So step the left foot forward. To start, my hands are along either side of my foot, and I'm just going to extend my back leg longer. I'm going to inch my knee further back, curl my back toes under, and now I'm walking my front foot out to the side, so it's a wider stance. And now I'm moving my left hand so that it's on the inside of that front foot. So now both hands are on the inside, resting on my palms, and that might be good for you on this side. Every side is different. One side might be tighter than the other. If that is fine and you want to try dropping a little lower, see if you can come lowering down onto your elbows. You might want to roll out slightly onto the left side of the left foot. There's a deep bend in that left front knee. Resting on the back knee and the curled under back toes. Breathing here for a few more breaths in lizard's pose. Nice job, everyone. And then slowly press yourself back up, inching your front foot back to tabletop. Rock out your hips. And then slowly make your way to standing. Once you come to standing, we will take our arms out to a T and do some circles with our arms. Backward circles to start, nice big circles to really open up the shoulder blades and the chest. So in this case, the bigger the better here. And you don't need to be moving real fast, just nice, slow, big backward circles with your arms. You're going to start to get heavier and heavier. And you're going to just keep moving backward circles. And then slowly start to do forward circles. Same thing, big, slow, forward movement with the arms. Be heavier. Might be feeling it in your shoulders now. All right, and now we're going to do some swimming arms. So right arm and then left arm follows. Imagine you're swimming through our Pacific Ocean. So right arm circles forward, then left arm circle forward. They say in swimming that you get a lot of your momentum from your hips. So notice right now, if you have your legs maybe hip width distance, see if you can have whichever arm is circling forward, that hip will also be pointing forward. Keep your gaze forward as you continue to swim, and then we're going to do backwards swimming. This one's always challenging when I swim backwards, but in the air it's not as bad. So we're going to backward strokes. Same thing with your hips, noticing as your right arm swings back, your right hip swings back. Accentuate the hips as you move your arms. Nice, and then allow your arms to drop. And we're just going to swivel our hips now from left to right. Allow your arms to dangle as you rotate from side to side. Just a little gentle twist here. Good, and then drop your arms to your side and bring your feet together a little more to hip width apart. So feet are parallel. Inhale, reach your arms up to the ceiling. Interlace your fingers and then flip your palms towards the ceiling. As your fingers are interlaced, your arms are extended straight alongside your ears. Continue to lift through the chest. Press your palms up. Feel your spine grow long. And then a slight little back bend here as you continue to lift and bend backward, gaze up. Breathe. Inhale back to center and then exhale to the right. Arms are still alongside your ears, fingers interlaced. Arms are straight as you lean to the right. Feel the left side stretch. Equal weight in both feet. Inhale back to center. Exhale over to the left. Arms are straight, bending at your hips. Equal weight in both feet. Feel a nice stretch in the right side. And inhale back to center. Allow your arms to drop. Shake out your arms, your hips a little bit. And let's find our wall or chair or furniture that you're going to possibly need for balance. Take a water break if you need it. And we're going to get ready for our leg lifts. So we'll start with the right leg. We're going to lift our right leg out to the side and down. Both feet face forward. And your torso stays steady. You may want to hold on to something, you may not. You may want to hover your hand. You may want to use one finger, two finger, the whole hand. So really going nice and slow so that you're using the strength of your leg to lift versus the momentum. Slow on the up and slow on the down. Do 10 to 15 on the right side and then switch to the left leg. Feeling it in the standing leg too, I'm sure. Nice job, you guys. Once you've done both sides, we're going to revisit that, but not until we do something in between. So for this one, this is actually in Sanskrit called Utkatasana. Remember that, Utkatasana, which means chair pose. So some of you might even want to do this against the wall. It's a little different against the wall, but try it without one first. This is just seated chair pose. So your feet are going to be hip width distance apart. Your arms are going to come straight out in front of you, the palms facing one another. The arms are just parallel, about shoulder width distance. And then you're going to sink your hips down, sitting back into an imaginary chair. Your back is straight, and you're just holding your chair pose here, Utkatasana. So you're just sitting in this imaginary chair, and your arms are straight out in front. The lower you go, the harder it is. Lift back through your chest so that you have a straight back. Think about leaning back here. Maybe even lift your toes, wiggle your toes. And how long you want to hold this is up to you. But you know, I could be here all day with you all, so I'm just going to wait for you all to break. Then I'll know that's my cue. So lucky for you all, you have a couple real strong people in class that don't want to get out of their chair. So we're just going to keep sitting in the chair as long as our friend here, who I'm not going to call out, is still seated in their chair. Okay, that's enough. I'm going to say get out of that chair. Shake out your legs. Woo! So you can also do something similar to this with the wall. As I mentioned earlier, like a wall sit, where you come to a wall, you're leaning back into the wall, you walk your feet forward, sit down, and hold that squat against the wall. So you can try that another day. We're not going to do it because we just did that chair pose and it's probably enough for today. But we're going to now revisit our lovely leg lifts. So second round of leg lifts on the right, lifting and lowering the right leg out to the side and down. Set number 2. Maybe you just want to do 10, maybe you want to do 15, whatever feels good for you. Both your feet face forward, torso upright, keep your torso steady. And then once you've done the right, switch to the left. Nice job, everyone. Once you're done with the left side, take a moment to just roll out your ankles. Start with one foot at a time. That would be pretty challenging to do both at the same time. So one foot at a time, roll out the ankles, rolling onto the toes as well. Clockwise and counterclockwise. Resting more onto the ball of my foot so I can lift the heel and rotate the ankle all around. Nice job, everyone. And then we're just going to do our simple heel raises. So our feet will be hip width distance parallel. You may want to hold on to something for this as you lift up onto your toes and back down. Heel raises. We'll aim for 20. You can always do a little more if you want. Working muscles in our calves. If you ever want to make this harder, you know you can hold on to weights or a water bottle or a housemate. You hold on, lift up someone in your house. That would be real hard. I should try this with my son. Hold on to my son as I do my leg lifts someday. He's getting big and heavy though. Okay, however many you've done, go ahead and shake out your legs. Nice job, you guys. So I think we're going to come back to our mat. If you aren't there, come back to your mat. We're going to do one final standing exercise. This is kind of like a horse, a combination of two things, horse pose and squats. So you're going to come with a nice wide stance, almost wider than your mat if possible. Your feet will be turned outward. Your hands can rest at your hips. They can hover out in front of you, kind of like we did in chair pose. And then you're going to sink your hips down, bend your knees, and then come back up. So we're just doing a super wide-legged squat. And you'll come lowering and stand back up. For this one, we're going to lift and lower. So we'll see if you can do maybe 10 to 15 squats here. The wider, the better for this case, I want your legs wide. Knees are pointing outward because your toes and feet are pointing outward as well. And we're building strength in our thighs here, if you haven't noticed. Nice job, you guys. I'm going to do 5 more. Nice. And then we're going to come onto our stomachs. So laying on your mat, coming down all the way to rest on your stomach. We'll start with a Sphinx pose. So your legs will come together behind you straight. You're going to come up onto your forearms. So your elbows are bent. Your elbows are resting down beneath your shoulders. Forearms flat down on the ground. Palms flat. Forearms are parallel. Your chest is lifted here. And you're lifting up onto your forearms. Again, your forearms are parallel so that your shoulders, your elbows are directly under your shoulders. Some of you, your elbows are really wide, so go ahead and make sure they're under your shoulders. There you go, good adjustment. And then your gaze is forward. You're just holding this for a few breaths, a little compression in your low back. The Sphinx pose. Your feet are together behind you, pointing with the tops of your feet flat down if you can. And then slowly lower down and rest your side of your head flat on stacked palms with your head turned in one direction. And now we're going to transition into our superhuman pose. Superwoman, Superman, Superperson. So for this one, we'll start by extending our arms forward in front of us. The palms will face one another. You can keep your forehead resting down on the ground to start. Your legs are going to come straight out behind you, about hip width distance. You're going to take a deep breath, and on your exhale, you're going to lift up your arms, lift up your legs, and hover, resting on your pubis bone. You can hold it there if possible. Take a few breaths. If you can only take one breath, that's fine. You want to keep your gaze down to keep length in the back of your neck. If you come back out, just come back in. We're going to visit this pose for a couple more moments, so feel free to explore this for yourself. So this is a pretty intense pose, that it's really a good one for strengthening your low back. So again, your arms are straight out in front of you, legs straight out behind you, and the idea here is to lift your legs and arms, hovering them off the ground. Lift your chest, lift your head, and resting mostly on your pubis bone. So if it's not available to do what I just said, go ahead and just start by lifting just your arms and just your chest, or you can also just lift your legs and maybe just your legs and your head. So some options for you all for superhuman pose. Another option is to lift and lower, almost like doing little crunches, where you lift your arms and legs and then lower back down real quick. It's more of a dynamic pose. And then you'll just take a breath and rest for a moment after doing that. Good, and then you're going to roll onto your left side. Once you're ready, roll onto your left side and bend your knees so that your knees are stacked and you're resting on your left side. We're going to do some side crunches. So now you're going to take your hands, interlace them behind your head. Your elbows are bent out wide. See if you can twist your torso towards the ceiling so that now you can lift your head and left shoulder up and down, doing a side crunch to work the right obliques, the right side of your abdominals. Your knees are bent, stacked on top of one another. You're resting mostly on the left side of your body, and you're just lifting your head, neck, shoulders up towards the ceiling and back down for maybe 10 to 20 side crunches. So your hands are interlaced and resting behind your head just to support your head. It's a lot to keep your head just floating here, so rest your head into your hands as you lift and lower. Nice job, everyone. So we're on our left side. Maybe take another 3 to 5 crunches. And then you can stay on your left side and rest your head into your left palm. Your left elbow is resting on the ground, and you're just kind of resting on your side there with your hand holding up your head. And then we're going to do some clamshells with our legs, working our glutes. Our knees are bent. Your feet stay touching, and you're just lifting the top knee up and then lowering it back down. Think of that little clamshell opening and closing. Good job, you guys are doing it. The bottom leg just stays resting down. The top knee lifts and lowers for about 10 to 20, working the muscles in the outer right glute. And once you're done, you have an option to roll onto your back and onto the other side, or roll onto your stomach and onto the other side. But however you get there, you need to get to your right side. For the same thing, we're going to do crunches now. Resting on your right side, knees are bent, stacked on top of one another. Hands interlace around the back of your head, so your head is resting in your hands, elbows bent. And now you're just lifting up and down. Lift your shoulders up and down. Crunches for the left side of your obliques. And you probably will all be feeling this tomorrow, because it's not common that we use our obliques in this way. This is a really good exercise. Continue to lift and lower, try to even out both sides. Once you're done with the crunches, we'll come into our clamshells. So we're resting our head into our right palm, rest our right elbow down on the ground. Left hand can just kind of steady yourself, resting on the mat in front of you. Your knees stay bent. Your ankles can stay touching as you just lift the left knee up towards the ceiling and then lowering to tap, lift and lower clamshells to work the outer left glute. Nice job, you guys. Once you've evened out both sides, we're going to come all the way onto our backs. Bend your knees, wrap your hands around the front of your shins, and just rock from side to side. Massage your low back on the mat. Keep the right knee bent. Extend your left leg down to rest on the mat. Head resting down on the ground. Just squeeze your right knee towards the outside of your right rib cage. Or when releasing pose, chin comes in toward your chest to create a little more of a elongated neck. 2 more breaths here. Squeeze the right knee. Good, and then take that right knee across your body over to the left for supine twist. Right arm extends out to the side with the palm facing the ceiling. The left hand can assist the knee towards the ground. Turn your head toward your extended right arm. Straightening out your spine. Few breaths here in supine twist. Press the right shoulder blade down. On your next inhale, slowly come back to center. Drop your right knee towards the ground. Extend your right leg long as you bend the left knee. Squeeze your left knee in towards the outside of the left rib cage. Hands interlace around the front of the left shin. Squeeze the knee. Chin towards chest. Releasing any tension in your face or your jaw. If you need to rest your head under a blanket, that's fine. You want your head relaxed here. Just focusing on compression of your left hip flexor. And then we'll take that left knee, bring it across your body into the right for supine twist on the other side. Left arm extends out to a T, palm faces the ceiling. Take your right hand to draw the knee towards the ground, across your body. Left shoulder presses down. Turn your head toward your extended left arm. Breathing here in supine twist. Good, and then slowly come back to center. Bring your knees to your chest one last time. Hands interlace around the front of the shins. Just rock from side to side. And then get any last movements out that you need. Wiggles and squiggles. Reach your arms overhead if you like. Whatever feels good, so that you can find stillness in your final relaxation pose, Shavasana. We'll all make our way to Shavasana by laying all the way on our backs, arms and legs resting down, taking up as much space as you need. Arms face the ceiling. You can place your head on a pillow or a blanket. Take a moment to get comfortable. Your arms resting down at your sides. Close your eyes. Again, tap back into your breath. Natural rhythm. Natural rise and fall of your chest and your stomach. We'll be here in stillness for the next moment or two. thing to do. We'll take one more deep inhale through our nose. Open mouth, exhale, side out. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Slowly make your way to one side and press yourself back up to seated. Taking as much time as you need. Find one more final comfortable seat. Take our palms together at the center of our chest in a prayer position. Think of something you are grateful for in this moment. Nothing is too small or too big. Thinking of something that makes you smile. Breathing that in together. Exhale. Namaste. Thank you all for coming today and sharing your practice with me. Virtual hugs to you all.